Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back. Welcome to March 2024. I don't know the exact day, but I know we're only just beginning the month. And I don't know if any of you have been experiencing this, but it's felt like several months just in a few days. From the moment March 1st hit, it has been a roller coaster, but one that I am so thankful that I'm on. There have been so many moments of growth, so many tests of where I'm at on this path, moments of wounds that I never saw that got to come to the surface for me to move through. It's been a big month and it's only the beginning. So, for those of you that have felt that too, just know you're not alone and that I've been going through it too. It doesn't escape me. This week, I want to talk about the word devotion. And not just the word, but the feeling of devotion. Now, what does devotion mean? Well, it means to love, to be excited about that person, that place, that thing, and also to be loyal. Now, all of those things are actually pretty heavy in and of itself. Like, separate out love, that's very heavy, but like a freeing heavy. Separate out loyalty, and that is also something very heavy, meaning it carries a lot of weight, obviously. And then we also have excitement. And when you have all three of these emotions, powerful emotions, emotions that a lot of us strive for, it causes rapid change. And I mean, change of the biggest kind, the most loving kind. But when I say the biggest kind and most loving kind, what I mean is it's not all rainbows and butterflies. Sometimes the love and sometimes the loyalty and the excitement are going to feel like a big old entire weight is on you and that you can't get out, that you are treading water to survive. And sometimes that's how it feels. But why I brought up devotion is because we we need to be devoted to ourselves. We owe it to ourselves to devote our entire life to our happiness, to what it feels like to be loved by ourselves, what it feels like to be loyal to ourselves, and what it feels like to be excited to be ourselves. And I can tell you from personal experience that I was not always loving, excited, or loyal to myself. And that seems pretty tough. Seems tough to say, right? I'm not loyal to myself. Cancel, cancel, delete. I am loyal to myself. But there have been parts of me that weren't. And what I mean by that is picking up the phone when you don't want to, texting that person that you know you shouldn't, staying in a situation that you know is hurting you. And I'm not here to talk about safety. Of course, take yourself out of an unsafe situation, but I mean, like, you go to a restaurant that you know you don't like, you know you hate it. And hate is a very strong word, so let me back up. I don't like using that word. But you go somewhere that you know you don't want to be, and you know that you don't like, and yet you still go there. And maybe you were pressured. Maybe you were pressured by your family members, or maybe you're going on a date, or maybe it was the closest thing to your apartment or your house or whatever, but you still wound up there. That's you not being loyal to yourself, whether you like it or not. That's the truth. You know you don't like it, and yet you still do it. And so we get excited about all of these external things, like a new car, or that new purse, or a new haircut, whatever. But are we really excited to wake up and be ourselves? Do we even love ourselves? Can you even be excited to be yourself if you don't love yourself? I can also tell you from experience that it takes effort, but yes, both can be true. You can every single day tell yourself that I love you to the point to where one day you wake up and you believe it. You're not going to believe it at first, I promise you, because I can tell you from my own experience. I didn't just wake up, well, actually, cancel, delete. Yes, I did. I told myself every single day for many, many days before I finally started believing that I love myself and I want to value myself. I want to be loyal to myself. And I still catch those moments where I actually didn't communicate what I really wanted to do. I didn't do or say or act in the way that is true for me. And I take those opportunities to learn because I won't get it right every single time, and neither will you. And that is okay. We're not perfect. We're here to have a human experience, but don't we owe it to ourselves in that experience to love and be loved, to devote our love to ourselves so we can communicate how to be loved? Don't we owe it to ourselves for that? I feel like we create this narrative of clutter. And what is clutter? Well, clutter are those things that we focus on that cause us to stop looking within. They cause us to look outside of ourselves, comparing ourselves. And I know that that change of not comparing yourself and not wanting those validation, the validation from outside of you, I know that those things are easier said than done, but they can be done. It takes effort, it takes devotion to who you are, it takes devotion to you as a human being. And I'm so passionate about it because I have been there. I've been there where I constantly seek outside of myself for the next thrill, the next short dopamine rush. And I can tell you from the other side of that that it's only for a short time. It doesn't actually fulfill you. And that's the worst part, is that our ego would love to keep us in that moment. It would love to keep us in that safety net of, well, you've been doing this for that little short moment of feeling good. You should just keep doing it. But what our ego keeps us from experiencing is true love. And that's what we're here on this planet for. We're here for that true love. You can't tell me that we're not, because I know every single one of us wants to be loved and experience it. And I'm not saying you've never had it before. We have. But I'm talking about I love myself so deeply and so thoroughly that I know I can receive it. I know that I can receive it. I don't need that external validation. In fact, that's just a plus. We declutter our lives. And the funniest thing about clutter is that it will try and keep you down. The more you clear it out, the more that you see and clean it and scrub it and don't let it come back, you close the door on it, the more that it'll push back, the more that it will try to keep you in the same loop. And I don't just want to call it ego because we need our ego to a certain extent. We need it to get us to do those things that we would have never done without it. We need a little bit of, I know I can do that. I am the best. We need that from our ego to get us to do those things. But can you seriously sit here in front of me and tell me that you're devoted to yourself completely? Speaking your truth when it might hurt someone. Unintentionally, of course, but it is your truth. You speak your truth that might let someone down or that might go against what you've been doing up to this point. You do the things that might cause some people in your life to walk away or you to walk away from them. Are you devoted enough to yourself to do that? To change your life radically and live the life that you've been wanting? There's a reason why you've had that nudge. And that nudge will look different for everyone. Some of us will get a feeling. Some of us will have to talk it out with someone else. And then there are those that just have a knowing. And it looks different for everyone. But if you're like me and you had a moment where you realized that up to that point, you weren't actually living, you were just responding, that's when everything changed. Because I didn't want to respond anymore. I wanted to be the conscious creator of my life that was in devotion to myself. So I could communicate how I want to be loved, what I want my life to look like, and how I want to live. And so, my challenge for you is, how are you going to figure out what devotion looks like to you? What will you start with? I started with looking at myself in the mirror every day saying, I love you. And sure enough, after a few weeks and months and a couple years, I finally believe it. Because here I am. But I hope all of you have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.